Hey, how you doing? I'm Pro Saxophonist Jamie Anderson. Welcome to a special edition of Get Your Sax Together, which is the ultimate sax quiz. We are going to have a lot of fun today, believe you me. So, how's your sax knowledge? We are going to sort out the sax nerds from the sax herds. So, I'm going to explain how this all works for you, and we'll get straight into it. Okay, now then, there are going to be 3 rounds, and the rounds are going to be famous saxophonists, famous sax solos, and general sax trivia. In each round, there's going to be 10 questions. Now, I'm going to read you the question. If you don't even need the options, you're going to score 10 points. It's going to be an honesty system. If you need the multiple choice correct answers, to get the correct answer, you'll get 5 points. And obviously, if you get it wrong after the multiple choice, 0 point, nil point. Okay, so you got a total of 300 points available over the 3 rounds, and at the end we'll tot up our scores and see how you get on. Now, some of the questions are going to be very easy, and some of them are going to be extremely difficult. You're going to be laughing because the easy ones and pulling your hair out because of the hard ones. All right, so keep your score as you go along. You will get 3 seconds to answer the question without the multiple choices. And then once the multiple choices come up, you'll get 5 seconds. So if you want more time for the tricky ones, feel free to pause the video. That's how it works. So without further ado, love the music. So without further ado, let's get into this and get on to the first question. So round 1 is going to be all about famous saxophonists. So good luck. And here we go with the first question. Who is known as Bird and considered one of the greatest jazz saxophonists of all time? 3 seconds. I'm still getting used to being a game show host. Here are the choices. A. John Coltrane. B. Charlie Parker. C. Michael Brecker. D. Sonny Rollins. 5 seconds. And the answer is, of course, B. Charlie Parker. Okay, let's move on to question 2. Which famous jazz saxophonist's nickname was Prez, short for the President? 3 seconds. Here are your choices. A. Ben Webster. B. Bill Clinton. C. Coleman Hawkins. D. Lester Young. And the answer is, of course, D. Lester Young. Question 3. Which saxophonist is best known for his gravelly, rocky performances in Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band? Here are your choices. A. Clarence Clemens. B. Michael Brecker. C. Tom Scott. Or D. Maceo Parker. And the answer is, of course, Clarence Clemens. Question number 4. Who duetted with Eurythmics guitarist Dave Stewart on the 1989 song Lily Was Here? Here are your choices. A. Mindy Aber. B. Candy Dulfer. C. David Sanborn. Or D. Gerald Albright. And the answer is Candy Dulfer. Okay, on to question 5. Make sure you're keeping track of your scores. Okay, which jazz saxophonist recorded the original version of Take 5 in 1959? Here are the choices if you needed them. A. Cannonball Adderley. B. Lee Konitz. C. Paul Desmond. Or D. Dave Brubeck. 5 seconds. And the answer is C. Paul Desmond. Moving on to question 6. Which Texan free jazz saxophonist was famous for his plastic alto, as heard on the classic Atlantic album The Shape of Jazz to Come? Here are your multiple choices for this one. A. Ornette Coleman. B. Charlie Parker. C. Ferris Saunders. Or D. John Zorn. And the answer is A. Ornette Coleman. Great album, that. Shape of Jazz to Come. Okay, moving on to question number 6. Which famous classical saxophonist is the author of the Altissimo instruction book, Top Tones for the Saxophone? 3 seconds. And here are your options. A. Sigurd Rascher. B. Marcel Mule. C. Eugene Rousseau. Or D. Frederick Hemke. And the answer is Top Tones for the Saxophone, which was written, of course, by Sigurd Rascher. Moving on to question 8. 3 more questions in this round. Who recorded the vast majority of Lisa Simpson's baritone sax parts? Who was the actual session musician who recorded Lisa Simpson's baritone sax parts in the show The Simpsons? Here are your multiple choices. A. Joe Temperley. B. Ronnie Cuber. C. Terry Harrington. Or D. Jerry Mulligan. 5 seconds. And the answer is C. Terry Harrington recorded almost all of Lisa's baritone sax parts. Okay, 2 more questions in this round. Okay, you might need a little bit more time for this one. On January the 17th, 1993, 10 famous saxophonists performed together in Washington, D.C. as part of Bill Clinton's inauguration celebrations. The players were Gerald Albright, Michael Brecker, Kenny G, Dave Koz, Jerry Mulligan, David Sanborn, Tom Scott, Grover Washington Jr., Curtis Stigers, and which other saxophonist? And here are the multiple choices for this one. A. Bill Clinton himself. B. Sonny Rollins. C. Kirk Whalum. Or D. Ernie Watts. And the answer is, in fact, C. Kirk Whalum. So last question now in this round, in this first round. Question 10. Who was the first ever recorded saxophonist? This is a tricky one, guys. Who was the first saxophonist ever to be recorded? I will be super impressed if you get this one, even with the choices. Okay, A. Bessie Mecklem in 1892. B. Sidney Bechet in 1917. C. Adolphe Sax in 1893. Or D. Edward Lefebvre in 1889. 5 seconds. And the answer is D. Edward Lefebvre in 1889. So let's see how you got on in that first section there. So how did you do? What you need to do is make a note of your score. Remember, it was 5 points if you needed the multiple choice, 10 if you got it without. And without further ado, we're going to move on to round number 2. So here we go. Round 2 is famous sax solos. So we've talked about famous saxophonists, and now we're moving on to famous sax solos. Remember, if you need a bit more time, you can always pause the video. Alrighty. Question 1. They start off quite easy, don't worry. Which 1984 George Michael hit features the lyrical, slightly speeded up saxophone playing of Steve Gregory? 3 seconds. And here are your choices. A. I'm Your Man. B. Careless Whisper. C. Baker Street. Or D. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. 5 seconds. And the answer is B, of course, Careless Whisper. Probably one of the most famous sax solos ever recorded. Let's move on to question number 2. Which London thoroughfare is immortalised in a 1978 Jerry Rafferty hit featuring the saxophone work of Raphael Ravenscroft? And here are your choices. A. Berkeley Square. B. Portobello Road. C. Piccadilly Circus. D. Baker Street. And And it is, of course, of course, it's Baker Street. I did tell you they are starting off easy, but don't get too complacent, I'm telling you. Okay, question 3. Who composed the theme from the Pink Panther, originally featuring the smoky tenor sax of Plas Johnson? Who composed it? Was it A, John Barry, B, John Williams, C, Henry Mancini, or D, Quincy Jones? And the answer is Henry Mancini composed the theme from the Pink Panther. Question number 4. Songbird was a massive hit for Kenny G in 1987 and continues to enjoy huge popularity to this day. What instrument does it feature? And here are your choices. A, soprano saxophone, B, sopranino saxophone, C, tenor saxophone, or D, alto saxophone. And the answer is A, soprano saxophone. Moving on to question number 5. Featuring the growly tenor sax of Danny Flores, which act released the novelty song Tequila in 1958? Was it A, the Ventures, B, the Tornadoes, C, the Challengers, or D, the Champs? And the answer is, it was the Champs. Tequila! Alrighty, moving on to question number 6. Which jazz saxophonist had an unexpected hit in 1939 with his iconic version of Body and Soul? They're getting a little bit trickier now. Was it A, Lester Young, B, Coleman Hawkins, C, Ben Webster, or D, Charlie Parker? And the answer is, for you jazz fans, Coleman Hawkins had an unexpected hit with Body and Soul in 1939. Let's move on to question number 7. One for the classical players. You've got to have a really fully rounded knowledge of saxophone to do well in this quiz. In Ravel's 1922 orchestration of Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition, what is the name of the movement featuring alto sax and bassoon? I'll accept it in any language, but we're looking at the your options in English. A, Dasher by a Lake, B, Promenade, C, The Old Castle, or D, The Dancer. And it is C, The Old Castle. I definitely should not sing throughout this quiz. Okay, question 8. Who recorded the sax solo on the seminal 1977 Steely Dan song Asia from the album of the same name? Was it A, Michael Brecker, B, Wayne Shorter, C, Tom Scott, or D, Pete Chrislieb? And that awesome solo was, in fact, played by B, Wayne Shorter. Fantastic solo on that track. We're getting tricky now. Question 9. Replacing regular saxophonist Bobby Keys, Sonny Rollins recorded one saxophone solo with the Rolling Stones. What was the name of the song? Was it A, Waiting on a Friend, B, Casino Boogie, C, Brown Sugar, or D, Live With Me? And the answer is A, Waiting on a Friend. And actually, Ernie Watts took over from him on the tour to play that very song. Okay, final question of the round. Number 10. Which saxophonist commissioned and in 1940 first performed Paul Creston's Sonata for Saxophone and Piano? Was it Marcel Mule, B, Vincent Abato, C, Sigurd Rascher, or D, Cecil Leeson? And the answer is C, Cecil Leeson. I think the composer, Paul Creston himself, was on piano. I might have got that completely wrong. Okay, there we go. That concludes the round 2. So, how did you do? Tot up your scores for that round and then add them up to your round 1 scores. Now we're moving on to the final round. This is the general sax trivia round. So let's see how you get on here. We've got 10 more questions for you to answer. And remember, it's 10 points if you get the answer without the multiple choices and 5 points if you get it with the choices. Some of them, it's worth taking a punt on 10 points. Okay, here we go. Let's move on to question number 1. Final 10 questions for the quiz. Question 1. Who patented his new invention, the saxophone, on the 28th of June, 1846? I did say some of them were pretty easy. Was it A, Henri Selmer, B, Adolphe Sax, C, Jean-Louis Buffet, or D, Roberto Saxana? And it was, in fact, of course, Adolphe Sax. Shame on you if you put Roberto Saxana. Okay, question 2. Which family of instruments does the saxophone belong to? Hopefully you'll all get maximum points for this one. Was it A, the brass family, B, woodwind, C, percussion, or D, strings? And the answer is, of course, it belongs to the woodwind family. Here's some free points for you. All right, question 3. Put these Selmer saxophone models in order from oldest to newest. You got the Super Action 80, you got the Mark 6, you got the Balanced Action, and the Super Cigar Cutter. What was the oldest one? And then going through until the newest one. I'll just give you a few more seconds on that one, just to kind of say your answer out loud. So number 1, the earliest. Number 2, next. Number 3, and the newest, number 4. Here are your choices. Was it A, the 80, Cigar, Mark 6, Balanced Action? Or B, Cigar, 80, Balanced Action, Mark 6? Or C, the 6, Balanced Action, Cigar, 80? Or D, Cigar, Balanced Action, Mark 6, 80? 5 seconds, here you go. Okay, the answer is D. The earliest Selmer was the Super Cigar Cutter, followed by the Balanced Action, which was then followed by the Mark 6, and finally the Super Action 80 with a kind of, with a bit of overlap between each one, but that was the order of the models. Okay, moving on to question 4. What is the name for the cylindrical part of a saxophone mouthpiece that slides over the neck cork? Is it A, the baffle, B, the beak, C, the shank, or D, the chamber? And the answer is the shank. It's the shank of the mouthpiece that goes over the cork of your neck. Okay, the questions are starting to get a bit gnarly. Okay, question number 5. You play notes from octave bis B flat chromatically up to palm D, trilling the side E throughout. What is the nickname for this technique? 3 seconds. Is it A, the Brecker flick, B, the Cannonball trill, C, the Coltrane ripple, or D, the Dexter scoop? And the answer is B, the Cannonball Trill. That's the, I mean, a lot of people did it, but Cannonball Adderley was very famous for that trill where you ripple the side E going up. Nice bluesy phrase. Okay, question 6. At the time of writing, April 2024, who are the only 2 living musicians from Art Kane's iconic 1958 Great Day in Harlem photo? Who are the only 2 people still alive as I produce this video? Is it A, Johnny Griffin and Benny Golson? B, Benny Golson and George Coleman? C, Sonny Rollins and George Coleman? Or D, Sonny Rollins and Benny Golson? And the answer is D. It's Sonny Rollins and Benny Golson are the only 2 people. They're the 2 saxophonists left from the photo, and they're not even, forget the fact they're saxophonists, they're the only 2 people left from that photo. Apart from maybe some of the kids who were in the street, but who knows what happened to them. Okay, number 7, question 7. We've got 4 more questions. Only using overtones produced by fingering notes from the lowest octave of the instrument, how many ways can you play the pitch of a palm key F? So, you can finger any notes from low B flat for the first octave of the instrument up to bass key B flat, and you're going to produce the same pitch as you would when you're doing a high palm key F. So you're going to produce that note. How many different ways, only using overtones, not playing it with the palm keys or anything like that, how many ways can you play the pitch of that palm key F only fingering notes from the low octave? I'll give you another little second to think about that because I'm being generous. Right. Is it A, 2 different ways, B, 3 different ways, C, 4 different ways, or D, 5 different ways? And the answer is C, 4 different ways. You can finger a low B flat and play the 5th overtone. You can finger a low D flat and play the 4th overtone. You can finger a low F and play the 3rd overtone. Or you can finger like a middle bass B flat and finger and play the 2nd overtone. They will all give you the pitch of a palm key F. Okay, moving on to question 8. We've got 3 more questions. Excluding the open hole at the mouthpiece at the neck and the open bell itself, how many holes are there on a tenor Semel Mark 6 without an F sharp key fitted? Now, I will give you a few extra seconds on this one because you might have to do a few little calculations. So I'm going to give you another 3 seconds. Okay, you can always pause the video if you want to have fun and guess yourself. Okay, is it A, 24, B, 26, C, 21, or D, 19? Pause the video now if you need a little bit more time to think about it. But the answer is A, 24 holes. You've got the 2 octave pip holes. You've got the 4 holes for the 3 palm keys and the high E key. You've got the 3 holes at the back for the side C, the side B flat, and your F sharp trill key. You have got 5 holes on the bow and bell. And I'll move out of the way a bit. And on the main front of the instrument, you've got 10 holes, which makes 24 in total. Okay, things are hotting up. We've got 2 more questions. The penultimate question, number 9. What is the binomial name for the tall perennial cane plant used to make saxophone reeds? What's his proper Latin biological name? I'll be super impressed if you know this one without the options. Is it A, Arundo donax, B, Arundiniara sativa, C, Camelina curcus, or D, Saliconia giganteus? And the answer is, I think I probably would have got it from the choices. It's Arundodonx. So if you're a proper saxophone geek, you might have known that one. Okay, we've got one more question, just a fun one to finish. Question 10, what is the name of the Muppet Show's burnt out saxophonist? Is it A, Art, B, Rolf, C, Bud, or D, Zoot? And the answer is, of course, Zoot. Charlie Parker, wherever you are, man, I'm sorry. Fantastic. So you made it. Now then, what you need to do now is total your scores from each round. The maximum score is 300, of course, but let's see how you got on. Here's your results. So, if you got under 100, oops, you split your reed. If you got between 100 and 145, you're squeaking a bit. If you got between 150 and 195, sounding not bad, well done. If you got 200 to 245, you are playing all over the horn. You are smashing it, well done. If you got 250 to 295, you are a complete and utter bebop genius, well done. And if you got 300, you definitely cheated. Because that would be really hard to do. So, that's all we got. Thank you so much for playing the quiz. It's been a lot of fun. If you just want something for free, go and check out my free Saxophone Success Masterclass. I'll put a link for that as well. That is an hour of free teaching where you will learn how to practice better, solo better, just get a better sound, all-round improvements across the board. It's a really awesome resource, which is yours for free. Just click the link in the description and fill in your email and it will be yours. Okay, thanks for taking part in a little bit of a different episode this week, but a lot of fun, I hope. Until next week, make sure that you practice hard, practice smart, and enjoy your music. See you later. I've got some fun buttons to press to have fun music, like it. Too waffly, man.